There's a common idea that there are levels of consciousness. Are there? Yes. Not only are there different levels of consciousness, but those levels can now be calibrated or measured. That measurement is the single most important fact about anyone. Everything someone believes to be true is perspectival. In other words, relative to that person's level of consciousness. It's simple to live better. Learn how to increase your level of consciousness. The more elevated it is, the happier you'll be and the better you'll live. If you choose to make use of it, my gift to you will help you do that. Those with the highest levels of consciousness share the same view about human nature, namely, to use the terminology used here, our essence is being, and everything else about ourselves, our personalities, our egos, is secondary. Your personal story or history from birth to death is your personhood. It includes everything you've ever done or that has ever happened to you. The result of that conditioning is how you're living now. The quality of your life is measured by your level of consciousness now. Let's use sages to refer to those who have the highest levels of consciousness. You're undoubtedly at least somewhat familiar with some of them. Sages transcend personhood to sagehood. They let go of personal consciousness in favor of impersonal consciousness. Unlike the rest of us, they realize for themselves that the protagonists of their stories are fictional entities. Since being cannot be described, and this is a shift of consciousness from being stuck in becoming to opening to being, the shift may be experienced but cannot be described or well understood conceptually. Dissatisfaction is optional. The transcendence out of personhood marks the end of suffering and the beginning of abiding bliss beyond comprehension. From the trials and tribulations of ordinary life to living heavenly. From unending challenges and troubles to abiding peacefulness, cheerfulness, and love. Backsliding is possible. A change in one's level of consciousness is possible either up or down until fixed with the dissolution of that body-mind. Does sagehood interest you? No more racing mind insomnia. No more prolonged unwanted emotions like fear. No more heartaches. No more worries. That's what giving up personhood means. Suppose that you're attracted to the idea that you need 7 or 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep each night and wake up in the middle of the night. What should you do? My recommendation? Detach from that thought. It's likely false. Like the idea of timed productivity, it's probably an idea that's only been around for several centuries. Biophastic sleep, 2 periods of sleep, seems to have been the norm for much of human history. Dropping attachment to that idea would be better. Instead of lying awake beating yourself up for not sleeping, why not meditate to enjoy being? If your self-esteem is too low for you even to dream about elevating your level of consciousness beyond the threshold of sagehood, I recommend that you detach from that thought too. If you've been understanding the content of these videos, you have what it takes to elevate your level of consciousness. Doing so will improve the quality of your life, and I'm telling you that based on my own experience, as well as my decades of researching and thinking about wisdom. A skeptic once asked the Buddha, "What have you gained through meditation?" "Nothing at all," the Buddha replied. "Then, Blessed One, what good is it?" "Let me tell you what I lost through meditation. Sickness, anger, depression, insecurity, the burden of old age, the fear of death. That is the good of meditation, which leads to nirvana." Nirvana is the Buddhist name for living well, which is living as the historical Buddha lived after awakening. That's how all sages live. According to their unanimous reports, it's living heavenly. Earlier in this sequence of videos, I mentioned the free PDF you may receive from me. If you read it and open to its ideas, you'll begin to realize for yourself how someone's level of consciousness can be measured. So what? The good news is that anyone may become a sage. Even if someone never makes it that high, raising one's level of consciousness raises or elevates the quality of one's life. What's more important than that? It's not just that you'll live better, it's that you'll automatically demonstrate to others how to live better as well. The right way to solve the enormous problems human beings face isn't to lecture them, but to show them how to live better. By measuring the different levels of consciousness of those who hold different accounts about the essential nature of being human, we can settle upon one account that is better than any and all of the alternative accounts. That's an important discovery. It's fine if you're skeptical about it. You should be. It's amazing, really. I've investigated it critically for myself and have been unable to find anything wrong with it. I encourage you to investigate it for yourself, too. It's a discovery that you could use to improve the quality of your life permanently. Do that, and you'll automatically be helping others, too. Here's the cash value of realizing that you are essentially being. You lack nothing. The problem is that so far, you've simply not realized that. You keep thinking that you're incomplete, unfulfilled, and unsatisfied. You think you need to do more, to gain more, to achieve this or that, to live well and become happier. Nope. Just follow the way of non-attachment. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll realize that it's time to let the clouds part. Letting go of thoughts itself isn't a doing. It's a releasing that doesn't take any time. So there's no waiting for a better time in the future. We only ever live now. Though many try, it's impossible to live in the past or in the future. So either we let go now, or we remain stuck in becoming. The more thoroughly we let go in the present moment, the more we practice non-attachment, the more we stop clinging, the more we stop seeking, the wiser we become. That's been understood by the wise at least since the axial age 2,500 years ago. The really good news is that since it's now possible to measure our levels of consciousness, we have a clear way of determining what's working and what isn't. If your level of consciousness is increasing, keep going in that direction. If it's decreasing, change direction. The lower your calibration, the greater your delusion, and the greater your dissatisfaction and unhappiness. The higher your calibration, the lower your delusion, and the greater your satisfaction and happiness. If you imagine living well or wisely as being at the top of the mountain, it turns out that there are not only multiple ways up the mountain, but also that there's an easy, private way to figure out whether or not what you're doing and being right now is increasing or decreasing your altitude. It also need not cost any money. Here's what I recommend. Simply email me and ask for that PDF. Dennis@endfearfast.com. DENNIS at ENDFEARFAST.com. I'll send it back as an attachment in my reply email. That's it. No strings attached. There won't even be any follow-up sequence of emails. If possible, do it right now so you don't forget. Don't worry, nothing bad will happen. The Calibrations PDF is mostly a list of calibrated sources for mastering life with a brief explanation. To begin to live better, follow up with any masterful source and test it for yourself. If you do, goodbye frequent insomnia. Also, goodbye to other obstructions to living well, such as enduring prolonged unwanted emotions. I hope that you follow through. Dennis at endfearfast.com. If you do, you won't just be helping yourself, but you'll be helping the rest of us too. Either way, I wish you well. Peace.